Welcome back, everybody, to the Bucs Planet Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Will Neely, and I felt the need to make this podcast to address an issue that has been coming up in the community lately of Bucs Nation and of the NFL community in general here. So I'm just going to go out and say it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not Super Bowl contenders. Okay, should I say that again? We, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are not Super Bowl contenders. Okay, said it twice. There you go. So quote me on that. Quote me saying, I want you to get a screen recording. I want you to go out into the papers. I want you to go out and post this on Instagram. I want you to say, Will Neely says the Bucs are not Super Bowl contenders. You know why? Because we're not Super Bowl contenders. That's why I want you to post it. That's why we're having this podcast. Could we be Super Bowl contenders? Potentially. Yes. But are we right now? No. And I'm going to show you exactly why we are not Super Bowl contenders. Okay, so we signed Tom Brady. Okay, and actually I have to ask another question before we get into this. I just want to, comment this or do whatever. I just want to ask you, do you believe in magic? Okay, do you believe in magic? Because some of you do. I don't know why you do. A lot of people in the NFL believe in magic. It doesn't exist. So, hate to burst your bubble on that. Because people think that by signing Tom Brady, we just magically go from the 30th ranked secondary to top 5, and we just magically have the 23rd ranked offensive line to the top 5 offensive line, and we just magically have a good running back. We just magically have all these good play calls and all these things that are happening for us, and we're just magically going to win the Super Bowl just because we signed Tom Brady. Okay? Hate to break it to you, there's no such thing as magic. The problems that we had on the team when the season ended are still the same problems besides the interceptions. Okay, we just magically have a kicker that can make field goals. That, believe me, if we could get anything, that'd be the magic I'd take right there because that does not exist. Our punter can magically, punt it inside the 20. Look, the issues on this team are still staggering. There's multiple holes. In fact, there's only 2 holes that we don't have. Actually, 3, okay? Receiving core, quarterback, defensive line. Okay, those are the only 3 things we have good for us. Punter sucks. Kicker sucks. Secondary sucks. Offensive line sucks. That all sucks. But according to NFL Network, ESPN, all these places, we're just magically going to go to the Super Bowl. Magically. It's just, everything magically fixes itself because of Tom Brady, who's just almost has like a mythical appearance in the world of sports now, that he is just something not human. He is still human. He can't fix every issue we have. Sorry, guys. I forgot to say Happy Easter out there to everyone watching. That's when I'm recording this. I was supposed to say that right when the show started, but I got too irritated at these people thinking we're going to the Super Bowl, so I had to go ahead and address that. And I want the Bucs to go to a Super Bowl. Let me be clear. Let me be perfectly clear. Obviously, I want us to go to the Super Bowl, and obviously, as a joke, I want to put all my Snapchat stories, we're going to the Super Bowl, but let's be honest here. We're not going to the Super Bowl. Can we just all take, we're in quarantine. Let's all chill for a second. Lay down on your couch, however you're listening to this, and let's just honestly think. We're not going to the Super Bowl, okay? Can we just get that through our heads? We have a good shot of maybe making the playoffs. Maybe, if we improve on 30 other things. But we still have a lot of things to do. There's so much bad with this team. And we're going to get into that right now. Because we signed Tom Brady. Our secondary match league is better. Let me tell you what the ranking is right now. According to NFL.com, that ranked pass defense, okay? The Bucs ranked 30th. Out of 32 teams, the Bucs secondary ranked 30th. And I just want to ask you guys, I watch every game. Do you guys watch every game? Some of you do. I hope most of you do. I want you to sit back and think, because this is what the media puts out there. Think the Bucs went 7-9, even with all of Jameis's turnovers. They could easily go 11-5 without, and blah, blah, blah. Because basically the media is spinning it as if we lost all of those games because of Jameis's turnovers. And that's simply not true. because I want you to just go back and even the games we won. This is an interesting game to think about. The Arizona Cardinals. Think about that game. Probably don't remember it. We won. It was a couple days after my birthday. It was a great day. I want you to think about that wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals who had 3 touchdowns on our football team. A hat trick. He flat out torched our defense on one of them, just a straight up go deep look. I did a whole video covering it. It caused Hargraves to get cut. And even though we won that game, the secondary it looked bad. I mean, we got torched 3 touchdowns by this guy. Almost, I think he might have had over 200 receiving yards. His name was, it's the main receiver they have on the Cardinals, Christian something. I can't really remember his name right now, but I know he torched us. Michael Thomas torches us every time we play the Saints. Every time we play the Saints, it's going to be a high-scoring game because we can't stop him. You can't do it. You can't stop him. And it goes to show, Tampa Bay, 30th ranked pass defense. I mean, it's not like I'm making up these numbers here. Think about any game. I mean, we made Ryan Tannehill look like a first-round Canton Hall of Famer. Do you want to? I always reference this, and I don't care if this wasn't the most recent season, if this is from the 2018 season. We made Mitchell Trubisky look like he was better than peak Tom Brady, peak Peyton Manning, peak Dan Marino, peak John Elway. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky looks like the greatest quarterback in NFL history when he threw for 5 touchdowns and was up 35-0 in the first half. The first half, Mitchell Trubisky, the worst quarterback in the NFL currently. He is the worst NFL QB. And what does he do when he plays our football team? That happens. And I understand that was a different defensive coordinator, different head coach. A lot of things have changed. But that's just still the Buck way. We still have this history of having a bad secondary and making horrible quarterbacks look good. Go ahead and look at Paxton Lynch, not even starting in the NFL, and yet when he played us, looked like a Hall of Famer. Daniel, you know what? Let's talk about this year. Daniel Jones. And you know what was funny about this is Daniel Jones is a rookie quarterback for the New York Giants, and he was making his first start ever at Tampa Bay. And the Bucs have had a history of looking absolutely terrible and losing to rookie quarterbacks. Only team in the league that looks that bad against rookie quarterbacks. There was some stat that we were like 4-11 or something against rookie quarterbacks. But then, on the other hand, you had Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles, who had a very, very favorable record against rookie quarterbacks. In fact, they shine when they play rookie quarterbacks. So it was like, what's going to give? Is Arians and Bowles' record going to give? And the Bucs' history of being horrible against rookie quarterbacks going to be what wins? Or is Bruce Arians going to overcome our organization and our bad culture, and we're going to beat the rookie quarterback, and Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles' record is what wins? So it was very interesting to me when I went to that game, and I was like, what's going to give? Arians' great record or our horrible record? What's going to actually happen? And what do you know? Daniel Jones comes out there in his first ever start. Okay, last time he started a ball game was when he was at Duke. Okay? And this is his first ever NFL start. And you would expect him to not look very good. But what happens against us? Oh, he looks like the next Hall of Fame quarterback, like normal. 4 total touchdowns, I believe. Beat us by, I think, a point or 2. Because we missed a field goal at the end. But that's regardless in the point. Because we'll obviously get into the kicker in a second. But he threw 4 touchdowns? 4 touchdowns. Now, I'm going to just check my sheet to be sure about this. But that is just, it's so bad that our secondary gives that up. And that was this year, people. Okay, so don't come comment saying, oh, you're only referencing last year's stuff, and I don't know why you're even mentioning it. No, this was this year. This year, we got torched by a rookie quarterback. It's typical Buck. I'm just trying to look this up now, just so I can get the actual daggering numbers. Yeah. This is what the stat line was for Daniel Jones in his first ever start. 23 of 36 passing, 336 passing yards with 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Were we playing Mike Vick? Were we playing Lamar Jackson? Or were we playing that rookie out of Duke? I can't tell. You wouldn't be able to tell from the stat line. If you replaced Daniel Jones' name with Lamar Jackson or like Michael Vick or Russell Wilson or something, I would have been like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. But no, it was actually the kid out of Duke who's making his first ever NFL start. But Will, the secondary got so much better. I guess? Kind of? Because back half of the year when we go down to Seattle and play the Seahawks and Russell Wilson throws 5 TDs on us, what do you think about that? Did it get better? Jamel Dean gets torched. He got better, that's for sure. That is for sure he got better. We played the Cardinals late in the year, got torched by them. I can go through the list of all the games. It got a little better. I will agree. But it's not great. It looks better against the Texans. We really lost that game because of turnovers. The Lions had a backup quarterback, barely even counts. The Colts. Okay, Jacoby Brissett torched us. Okay? Torched. He's not a good NFL quarterback. He torched us, and that was in the last month of the season. The Falcon game, defense looked bad. Obviously, we get torched every time we play the Saints. Ryan Tannehill. We made Kyle Allen, the quarterback who's awful. He is a terrible, terrible quarterback. And yet, we made him look like a Hall of Famer twice. No, actually just once. We only played him once. We made him look like a Hall of Famer in London when they put up 37 points and he looked like the next Dan Marino, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Whatever you want to call it, that's what we make. We make bad quarterbacks look great because our secondary sucks and everyone is wide open. This is still an issue. This issue didn't just go away. It didn't just magically become fixed because we have a new quarterback named Tom Brady. That's still an issue. So we need to get that fixed. We need to get, I wanted to sign a veteran defensive back, maybe like Josh Norman, maybe trade for Byron Jones. We do none of those things. We have Jason Light as a general manager. What do you expect? And I don't want to hear Jason Light. I give him probably. Let's see, how much credit should I give him for getting Tom Brady and the team stay right now? I'd say I'd give him maybe 0.1%. Is that fair, guys? Maybe 0.01. 0.01%. I'll give him that credit for the roster right now because the only thing that man has ever done in his career that has been successful for us, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Those are really the only good draft picks he's ever made. Ever. Since he's been with us. And he is able to get Bruce Arians just because they are friends and have acquaintances because they worked with the Arizona Cardinals together. And then Arians brought in his good coaching staff. Because what happened the last time Jason Light was assigned to hire a coach? Oh, Dirk Cutter, dumpster fire. That was Jason Light. You were assigned to hire a head coach. You hired Dirk Cutter, dumpster fire. That was a horrible decision. In hindsight, of course, it's a lot easier to say this, but still. We've drafted so many busts. I mean, Vita Vea is all right, but everyone knows Derwin James is better. Dalvin Cook is obviously better than O.J. Howard. Vernon Hargreaves got cut this year, and that's a top 15 draft pick. Roberto Aguayo. He drafted another kicker this year, and he's bad too. I mean, what's going on? Okay, Jason Light. Oh, but he got Tom Brady. No, Bruce Arians got Tom Brady. I can tell you that. Because I don't think Tom Brady would have looked and said, oh, Jason Light's there. He's a great general manager. Let me go there. No, he said Bruce Arians is an associated winner who's known to be good with working with famous QBs, Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning. We've all seen the list, so I don't have to go over it every time. That's why Tom Brady wants to be here and our great receiving core with a very air raid type of system. That's why I wanted to come here, not Jason Light. So we still have Brady still has to overcome Jason Light's horribleness. Now, it sounds to me like the order of roster command goes Bruce Arians 1, Tom Brady 2, and Jason Light coming in at number 3, even though his job is to command over the roster. It sounds like he's in third place right now, behind the people that he hired, who basically just replaced him. That's what it sounds like to me. Jason Light does not deserve all the credit in the world for this Tom Brady pickup. Just had to get that in there. Of course, years of bad draft picks with bad development from coaches is why our offensive line is terrible. It's why our secondary is terrible. I mean, we have draft picks on top of draft picks on top of draft picks back in that secondary, and they're all bad because the problem with the draft is Jason Light's not good at it, first of all. And the second problem with the draft is, for us personally, is if you miss on several draft picks, that sets you back at least a year. At least a year, that's going to set you back because now the players that you were developing that you're getting ready to start, now they're not good, so you don't want to start them. So you have to then go back into the draft, waste draft picks on addressing an issue that you already addressed years ago instead of addressing a current issue. Do you guys get what I'm saying here? So let's say you need an offensive line, but we draft a bunch of offensive linemen in the draft, and then now 3 years later, all those guys we drafted are bad, so we have to go draft them again instead of drafting, a better secondary. And that's the problem with Jason Light is he can't hit on draft picks. Maybe some of it's the coaching, I understand, but a lot of it is his idiotic drafting. So when we keep drafting, and, it's almost like the opposite of the Rays. You guys follow the Tampa Bay Rays? We have a great farm system, and we efficiently use cheap players to become good MLB starters because we have one of the best farm systems in the MLB. The Bucs are the exact opposite. We have to pay old veteran people to come in here to do Jason Light's job because we cannot develop young talent. You can ask Famous Jameis about that. You can ask Vernon Hargraves. And believe me, he sucks. So nothing you can really do there. But still, you can go ask him about it. Noah Spence. Well, you guys forget about Noah Spence, second round draft pick. And Jason Light, he was supposed to be a first round pick. I can't believe he dropped this far. I can't believe he got drafted that high still, Jason. He doesn't even start anymore. He barely makes practice squads. Guys, really, I love Noah. You gotta love Noah. Noah Spence. Bust! That's terrible. Who else? The secondary, the wasted draft picks we've had back there, it's unbelievable. Justin Evans. Do you guys remember Justin Evans? Have you ever heard of him? I haven't heard his name called in about 2 years. Oh, but he was second round draft pick. Oh, well, he was supposed to be the next big thing, Jason. What happened to him? Oh, well, injuries delay. Whatever. I saw him play. He wasn't nothing when he got in there anyways. This whole argument that I'm trying to make here is that we are not going to the freaking Super Bowl, okay? I wish we were so bad, and maybe in this year's draft, Light pulls it together, and or Tom Brady and Bruce Arians just take over the draft and say, Light, you can go ahead and take a hike, and we do it like that. And, we maybe get some really good young talent. We get, a couple of good offensive linemen. Definitely one in the first round. We maybe get a dynamic running back in the second. And we build a Super Bowl roster. Because you know what the problem is? And that's what I said in the last episode. Is that you are now just hoping and putting all your chips in that we have to win a Super Bowl within the next 2 years with Tom Brady. So honestly, at this point, you have to be drafting for now instead of the future because that's the route that we decided to go. I was not super for the whole Tom Brady thing. I really wanted us to kind of go for the future, actually build something. But the way they decided to go is let's go ahead and win now, sign Tom Brady, and we have to build a championship roster now. Problem is we don't have a championship roster. Teams can get away with doing this whole win now, kind of gamble on the future when they actually have a good roster. That's what the Rams did. and they went to the Super Bowl. They didn't win, so it kind of wasn't worth the whole thing. But they had a good roster, so they could kind of gamble on overpaying old players to come in here and win ball games. We don't have a good roster to do that. So we need to improve the roster. And it's going to take more than 2 years, in my opinion, to improve that roster. When honestly, in Jason Licht's, this is what, his 6th year, I think? This should be Jason Licht's 6th year. We should have a Super Bowl roster now if he was a good general manager. He's had 6 years. 6 years to construct one. Hasn't done it. Hasn't even gotten close. Haven't even made the playoffs. How are we going to the Super Bowl if we haven't even made the playoffs in 10 years? We didn't make the playoffs once in the last decade. Us and the Cleveland Browns were the only team not to make the playoffs from 2010 to 2019. That is it. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But, we're going to the Super Bowl according to everybody else. No, we're not. Honestly, are we even contenders? I don't know. I do not know. And I know maybe if, we actually improve the roster and, we start winning a bunch of games and we actually, somehow miraculously go to the Super Bowl, everyone's going to say, well, you said we weren't going to the Super Bowl. Yes, and I want you to think, as of right now, on Easter Sunday, April 12th, the Bucs are not Super Bowl contenders. That is what I am saying. So don't say, you said this back in April. Yeah, because the roster was bad in April, and clearly it got better from then until whatever, we make the playoff run. So, and I haven't even gotten into the fact of our offensive line that is ranked at 22nd. This is according to Football Outsiders, and this is a very legit stat website. They base all their offensive line stats based off of running back yards, power success, stuffed run, secondary yard levels, open field yards per run. And for passing, they base it off of, sacks, time in the pocket, and things of that nature. This is how they rank the offensive lines. And after they do all those numbers, the Bucs' run offensive line was ranked 23rd, so below average by a lot. And our passing offensive line was ranked 22nd. So pretty much overall ranked as a 22nd, 23rd offensive line, significantly below average. That is what that tells me. 15 is average. We're at 23rd. That is very below average, especially with a 42-year-old QB with little mobility. That doesn't hold up in the playoffs, guys. That doesn't hold up 16 games in a season to get a good record, get some buys, especially with this whole new playoff format. I don't understand it. And we also don't have a running back who's run over 800 yards, and I don't even remember when. It's been at least a few years since Doug Martin's season, but, look, Ronald Jones is okay, but, this guy still doesn't know the play. This guy still can't pass protect. He got benched by Arians several times because he couldn't pass protect. And, it's like, dude, I get it was your first year in a new system, but if it's not fixed next year, it's really not going to get fixed, and I'm kind of over him, to be honest with you, if it's not good next year. So I'm going to make a draft video next week about who I want to get, but I can tell you one thing. If we don't sign Devontae Freeman, which I think we should sign Devontae Freeman, but if we don't, I want to get J.K. Dobbins in the second round of the NFL draft. I want J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State. I think he's a stud. I think he's, a day one starter. I think he'd be good based off of what I've read, and, I've seen him play at Ohio State a lot. Because I watch a lot of college football, and I think that he would be good. But, Ezekiel Elliott, one of the best NFL running backs, came from Ohio State. I just think J.K. Dobbins would be a good pick for us in the second round. If he's there, we should definitely take him if we haven't signed Devontae Freeman by then or ever, because he is still a free agent. And these issues combined is why I believe we aren't going to the Super Bowl. This doesn't mean that it's impossible for us to go to the Super Bowl. Every year, every team has at least somewhat of a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I just don't think ours is very high. Our offense, our passing offense, I'm on NFL.com right now, our passing offense last year was ranked number 1 in the NFL, number 1 passing offense. Now, offensive efficiency, obviously we're going down because we have no run game, no offensive line, no secondary. These are problems with our team, bad special teams. That all needs to be cleaned up to have a Super Bowl run. I mean, think about the Chiefs and the 49ers. 49ers, great offensive line, great secondary, great running backs, great special teams. They have a good punter, and they have a good kicker, Robbie Gould, one of the best in the NFL. Okay, let's look at the Chiefs. Special teams wise, they have a great kicker, Harrison Butker, and their secondary's not great, but it got better as the year went on. And it's a average, 15 rank. Look, I can go on my website and see what was the Chiefs' passing defense ranked. And I guarantee, look, number 8. The Chiefs had the number 8 pass defense. That's top 10 pass defense. You have to have a well-rounded team to go to the Super Bowl. Everyone looks at the Chiefs, oh, well, they had a great offense. That's really the only reason. But no. They had a great run game. Not great, but it was efficient. It was an efficient run game, ranked top 15. They had a secondary ranked top 10. And, their high-flying offense. And, a great kicker, great special teams. We don't have that. We don't have the luxury of saying that we have a, top 10 ranked pass defense. These things just need to be cleaned up before I can say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a legitimate shot at the Super Bowl here. Now, because we signed Tom Brady, I understand anything could happen, especially with Tom Brady. But I just really find it hard to believe that with the roster we have now that we're going to the Super Bowl. So I just want to address all these rumors, all of the hype, because everyone's like, Will, there's actually legitimate people saying that the Bucs are going to Super Bowl. I don't buy any of it. I mean, this is, go watch the my training camp update episode where we just ripped the Tampa Bay Times for saying the defense is fixed. And what did I say back then? I said it wasn't fixed. Now at the end of the season, was it fixed? Not even close. There are some pieces there. There's a long way to go. So in conclusion, I do not think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be going to the Super Bowl. Stop overhyping this team. We're going to become the next Cleveland Browns if you do that, who did horrible last year after everyone thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl. So I just encourage everyone to stop saying that we're going to the Super Bowl. Maybe just say, I would be fine if you guys just all said, hey, we're going to the wild card. Maybe we'll win a game or two. That'd be fine. But because even that to me is a little bit of a stretch. But stop saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. Anything could happen. So I just want to reiterate that I'm not completely pessimistic and hopeless. But let's be honest here. This is the Bucs. This is still the Bucs. There's still a lot of holes in this roster that we need to improve. And that is going to do it for this episode. Again, happy Easter to everyone listening out there. And I will make another draft video either later this week or it'll be sometime before the NFL draft of the players I believe the Bucs should pick, that I want the Bucs should pick based off of research I've done on them. And then, of course, we will be doing a post-draft video, probably like a couple day after the draft or whenever I end up doing it. It'll be soon after the draft. So couple videos coming up here with actual plans. So yeah, everyone stay safe in quarantine, and I will see you guys next time.